In an unprecedented public attack by a sitting U.S. president on the leadership of the U.S. military. First of all, the president is the leader of the U.S. military. And the leaders and the other people in the U.S. military are hired killers. In an unprecedented public attack by a sitting U.S. president on the leadership of the U.S. military, President Trump has accused U.S. military leaders of seeking to start wars to boost the profits of defense contractors. So do you see what I'm saying? The only time they get really angry at Donald Trump is when he accidentally tells the truth. And here's what they're talking about.
Well, I'm the one that talks about these wars that are 19 years and people are just there. And don't kid yourself, you do have a military-industrial complex. They do like war. You know, in Syria with the caliphate. So I wipe out 100% of the caliphate. That doesn't mean you're not going to have these crazy people going around blowing up stores and blowing up things. These are seriously ill people. I don't want to say, oh, they're wiped out, you know, ISIS. But I wiped out 100% of the caliphate. I say, I want to bring our troops back home. The place went crazy. They want to keep, you have people here in Washington, they never want to leave. I say, you know what I'll do? I'll leave a couple of hundred soldiers behind. But if it was up to them, they'd bring thousands of soldiers in. Someday people will explain it.
Well, this is an example.
You do have a group, and they call it the military-industrial complex. They never want to leave. They always want to fight. No, I don't want to fight. But you do have situations like Iran. You can't let them have nuclear weapons. You just can't let that happen. I gave the generals, I said, go ahead. You got 1 year. See what you can do in Afghanistan. So they fight and fight and fight. But, you know, we've taken it way down in Afghanistan. I don't know if you've seen that, Steve. We've taken it way down. Now, it's a rough place. It's a bad place. A lot of bad things happen. The World Trade Center bombers were sort of, that's like the Harvard University of terrorism, okay? If you want to be a terrorist, you go over there, okay?
Unlike what we did in Yemen, which was not terrorism. Unlike what we did in Iraq, which was not terrorism. Unlike we did in Libya, which was not terrorism. Unlike we're doing in Yemen, unlike we're doing in Syria, we're the terrorists. So Trump accidentally told the truth there about the military-industrial complex, that they want to start wars. And but apparently, according to this guy Ryan Brown, that's a bad thing to tell that truth. So he's paid to lie to you, whoever that guy is, Ryan Brown. Got almost 5,000 likes, just so you know. So because of Trump, somehow the military-industrial complex doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. Our wars aren't all bullshit for fucking corporate profit. Well, guess who fucking disagrees with you?
Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
Well, it has. They completely control our government. They just gave Trump. They got the Democrats to give Trump. Nancy Pelosi gave Donald Trump, a guy who they say is working for Putin, an extra $132 billion for bombs. Billion for bombs. More extra on top. That's not 1 year. That's every year in perpetuity. So in 10 years, it will be over an extra $1 trillion. In just 10 years that they gave, that they just decided to.